Good evening. It's Friday evening for me. It's 9 p.m. and for you, wherever you are in the world, it's sometimes Sunday. I think it's about 11 o'clock on Friday morning on the Pacific coast of the USA. It's 7 p.m. in the UK, and I think if you're eating breakfast now, it's probably 6 a.m. in Australia tomorrow. So work all that out and stay confused. My name's Rob Yates. I'm the CEO of TetraKey.com, and we supply world-class business coaches who are also successful and proven business owners. And we're the only firm in the world to marry that combination together and then supply them together to you so that you can be as successful as your coaches, or hopefully more successful. Tonight is number 200 it's been a long day, is number 14 of 2017. And I said 16 last night, but 2017 of number 14 Facebook Live sessions that I'm going to be doing for you this year out of 260 in total. That means this year we're going to be offering you somewhere between 2,600 and 3,000 minutes of free business thoughts, ideas, concepts, coaching, and ways in which you can be the very best version of you and become amazingly successful in 2017. This is our gift to you. For me, it's the end of an amazingly successful week and an amazingly long week. And I say the end because currently on my own timeline and task line for this week, and I'll be talking about timelines and task lines next week, I'm about 6 hours behind for Friday. So that means I'm going to have some work to do this weekend to catch up. And this weekend we're refitting our offices with really, really cool homemade pine wooden benches and desks and stools as opposed to chairs, and new everything. It's very, very, very exciting. So it's been a long week. So forgive me if I slip up, trip up, and don't necessarily piece all my words together as well as maybe I do on occasions. Tonight is simple, and yet tonight's amazingly impactful at exactly the same time. And tonight we're going to look at 4 books that, if you read them and execute on the knowledge in them, will make your 2017 amazingly successful. So that being said, your ticket to the game, as ever and as always with these Facebook Live sessions, is to press the share button on your screen right now. Be a leader, share this with your network so that they can join you and be as successful as you are going to be. Click like if you're on Facebook, click the heart button if you're on Medium, and just share. Just share. Welcome to Paul Kuthi from Portland in Oregon, who's joining us today. I think it's lunchtime or 11 o'clock where Paul is, so welcome to him. And it is time to get reading. But before we do this, I just want to offer a stop. And the stop is around the danger of just reading. Now, I use myself as an example. Last year I read 48 or 49, I'm still counting them all up, work, psychology, business, success, coaching, financial services, you name it, books last year. 49 last year and 37 the year before that. So I've been reading a lot. And I've pressed pause on my reading at this point in time because it's become apparent to me that I'm not executing everything that I have learnt. So I've committed to myself to going back through my notebooks, and for whenever I read a book, I have a notebook, back through my notebook, pulling out the salient points from all the books and starting delivering on them now to increase the speed of my trajectory towards my own goals and my own success and achieving what's on my 2021 vision board. So what I'd encourage you to do is, if you were to only read 4 books this year and you were to execute 100% on each part, you will become amazingly successful. Amazingly successful, especially with these books. Before I carry on, and hopefully by now you've clicked like and you've clicked share, or you've clicked share and you've clicked like, I just want to talk a bit about next week and a bit of a rant. I'm picking up loads and loads of stuff all over the place around business owners using social media, business marketing, sales, business sales funnels, so on and so forth. And next week, I want to jump in and I'm going to have a bit of a rant about all this stuff that's floating around at this point in time. I'm pretty convinced that at this point in time, 85 to 95% of you are wasting well over 50% of your marketing spend. Well over 50% of your marketing spend, and you're not getting a big enough return on investment. And frankly, I've had enough. I'm passionate about the why we need marketing, about the what, social media, traditional forms, radio, papers, magazines, but the how to get the return on investment is what I want to look at next week, because I think most of you are wasting money, and I've had enough of it. I've had enough of it. So that's my own little personal rant for Friday. It struck me at 4 o'clock today that I had to share that with you. I think you're wasting your money at this point in time, and I hate that. I hate that. I want you to see a massive return on investment for all 100% of your spend. And listen, having a Facebook page and just having a Facebook page is not good enough. I'm representing tonight, I don't know if you can see this or not, Seattle Adventure Sports. It's one of my businesses that I'm a partner of in Seattle, in Washington State, in the USA. And I've put a whole bunch of work this afternoon into marketing and marketing funnels for Seattle Adventure Sports. And go and check out seattleadventuresports.com. See the programs we have going on, the activities, whether you've done anything adventurous ever in your life or whether you're an expert, whether you've got a group of executives, a group of people in your team who you want to perform at a higher level, whatever it might be, we have an offering for you that is world class. And I'd love for you to go and check that out, especially obviously if you're from the Seattle Pacific Northwest area of the US. So let's get started, shall we? Book number 1. I'd advise at this point in time a pen and pencil would be useful. And if you want to write a comment, that would be good too. A pen and pencil. So book number 1. I've read this book. It's one of the few books that I've read more than once. And I've read this book 5 times now. And this book's called Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor E. Frankl. So that's Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor E. Frankl. So why am I recommending this book to you? Well, the topic of this book is around the survival of a Jewish psychologist who went to Auschwitz and survived Auschwitz in the Second World War. And it's his mini autobiography of that part of his life, of what he was thinking, what he was doing, how he was behaving to overcome the things that he faced and still remain as sane as possible. For me, this book is so relevant because when I'm having a crap day, I read a chunk of this book and realise that my crap day really is this big based upon what he experienced. It's packed full of tips and tools and techniques of how to remain resilient and persevere. How to remain resilient and persevere. And if you're going to be a successful business owner, at success at anything, sport, life, business, your career, whatever it might be, resilience and perseverance are your 2 biggest skills. 2 biggest skills. If you can overcome hurdles quicker than other people and not get fazed by hurdles, you'll be ahead of 99% of the rest of the people who are doing what you're doing. So it's an amazing book. It's an emotional read, but nevertheless, if you haven't read it, you need to go and read it. And if you have read it, read it again. I only have a few books that I've read more than once, and this is one of them. This is one of them. So book number 2 for this Friday's Facebook Live session, and share this with other people, please, by clicking like and clicking share, is a very well-known book, but it's The 4-Hour Workweek by Timothy Ferriss. Very many of my clients who've read this book have had a massive aha moment. How to get more done in less time, how to get more done in less time, and then how to use that next time. Tricks of the trade on how to shortcut processes. For me, the takeaway from this book, and I've only read this book once, but I took extensive notes, because this book's full of resources, websites, email addresses, contact numbers, organizations to use. One of the things I used in here was a virtual assistant business from India. And it's a service now that I will not be without. My virtual assistant is fantastic. They deal with my emails for me. That's reduced my hours that I need to put into emails and that stuff by probably 2 hours a day. It covers a myriad of things about hacking what you do to become more effective, more efficient, and get more done. And not only that, covers things like your well-being as a business owner, mentally and physically, about developing relationships, all sorts of things. So the 4-Hour Workweek by Timothy Ferriss, read it and deliver on it, and you will make the biggest difference in your business in the shortest possible time. The next book is called From Impossible to Inevitable, and the author is Aaron Ross. Aaron Ross, I believe, was the Chief Marketing Officer of Salesforce.com, and he took Salesforce.com from a turnover of $10 million US a year to $200 million US a year in a very short period of time. And he looks at your marketing. How can you go and pour people into the top of your marketing funnel? Know how much that's going to cost, know what